Well, I think personally, it's been an incredibly busy off season with my daughter racing, also running the Grand Prix, and this boat. We haven't had much free time at all, but I'm not complaining. It's been fantastic. Working on multiple boats and just enjoying the people that we're working with. On this boat in particular, it kind of sounds cliche, but it's been fantastic with the group we have. We didn't lose anyone over the off season. We kept the entire team intact, and we haven't missed a beat. The boat was fast last year, and we knew exactly what we needed to change. For me driving, and we really didn't even talk much about it. We just went right to work, and we've worked pretty consistently the whole off season, and I feel great for the season coming up. We're really ready. This boat is just so much bigger, so much heavier. The 440 feels like you're driving more of a Grand Prix. It accelerates, like a rocket ship. The top end, the top end on the 440 is almost the same, if not more than this boat. It handles the rough water like a small boat because it is. So the big boats handle a lot better. It's a lot more comfortable. You definitely feel the weight of the boat. It's wanting to go a certain way, but this boat is set up great. And for me, jumping in the seat, it was already set up pretty well, and it's going to make the transition pretty easy, I think. Well, my initial thoughts as soon as Kelly let me know I was going to get a chance, the number one thing I didn't want to do was go out there and make a mistake and try to do something too soon and tip the thing over. And we did that. We had some other issues, which that was kind of out of our control. But this boat doesn't accelerate quite as fast as the little boat does, but it keeps pulling the whole time. Learning the lights. When the N2 lights come on and all the other stuff that the bigger boats have, that's going to be a challenge for me because we didn't have any of that with the small boat. I'm catching on pretty quick, and Taylor, he knows this system really well, and so it's set up this year for me. The lights, I can see when they're on. Obviously, I'm a lot shorter than Dave, and we didn't have a whole lot of time to change stuff over in the cockpit before San Diego. So this year, everything is set up in the cockpit to where I can see it. The gauges are, really clear, and we shouldn't have any issues. I think it's going to be a good go this year. I think having a competitive hull to go out there and run with these guys. I really feel that with the little boat, we had a team that could go out and compete with all the other teams. We just didn't quite have the hull. Kelly and Sharon, I think, are probably the best, most dedicated owners, on the circuit. We work harder, or as hard as anybody else out there, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We just didn't have the hull. So now we have the team. We have the same team. There's some incredible talent on this team, and now we have the equipment to back it up. And I'm really eager to get out there and showcase what the hull has and the team has. I think we had that last year, and this year hopefully it'll show. So I started outboard racing when I was 10, and I raced outboards until I was 24. Every class that I could get in. My dad got me started when I was really young. He raced also. And at 24, I started racing inboards. I raced a 2.5 liter modified for 3 years. I was lucky enough to have really good equipment there. We won a couple world championships and a couple national championships. We raced in New Zealand, and we won a world championship there. And Rick and Sean Bridgman asked me to come on board and drive a G boat, and I raced the G and the Unlimited Light class with those guys, and also Grand Prix later on. And I raced Grand Prix, I believe it was 9 years. We set a world record, and we had a lot of success doing that. And I raced for Scotty Pierce in the Grand Prix for a year, and I kind of was going to take a step back and just work on my business and some other stuff. And Kelly called me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, what do you think about getting qualified as an unlimited driver?" So I was eager. I mean, that's an opportunity that you don't get. I think most drivers, doesn't matter how much experience you have, you wait for that phone call, but for most of us, it just doesn't come, and you just kind of accept it. And I was one of the lucky few that I got a phone call while I was at work, hey, come get qualified as an unlimited driver. So that's how I got into the big boats. I think I've had a lot. And again, it sounds cliche, but I think it's the people that I've worked with all along the way. I've worked with a fantastic, group of people. We won the Summer Nationals in the Grand Prix one year, and we ended up getting disqualified later on. So it happens in the smaller boats too. But that experience was one of my favorite, even though we didn't get crowned as the Summer National Champions. It's one of the best races of my life with Marty Wolf, and we just had a great time, and that whole experience was great. Also, obviously going to New Zealand and racing down there and winning. When we first got there, those guys looked at our little boat and they said, "You've come a long way to get your butt kicked with that little boat." And I thought, oh no, we did. And sure enough, we just kept our heads down and we won the whole thing. So those are two of them. But, recently with my daughter racing, I'm kind of enjoying her success too. So last year she placed second in the Pro Nationals, and we were below an underdog even going there. So she's doing great. And so I think her highlights are as big as mine. So my dad started racing in, I believe it's 1988 in the outboards, and he thought that my brother and I were just going to be his crew helpers and stuff. And then of course my brother and I wanted to race also. So my dad raced all the way up through all the outboard ranks, 1100 runabouts. He raced 5-liter inboards, and then he went on to race Unlimited Lights for Bob and Janet Estes. And he had a great career, and he's still a big supporter of mine. My brother's raced outboards all the way up. He's raced inboards. He's going to get some seat time this year in the Grand Prix. And my mom is a saint. She, goes along with everything with a smile, and she just kind of accepts it all. She's doing not quite as good of a job now that her granddaughter's racing. She's a nervous wreck all the time. But yeah, Finn races 5 outboard classes, and she's racing inboards this year. My wife is an unreal supporter of ours. She's there every step along the way, making lunches to helping put boats on the trailer at 11 o'clock at night. So we got a really good family unit that helps us do all this stuff. My earliest unlimited thoughts are in Tri-Cities. My grandmother still lives over there, and I remember being at her house and hearing the boats running. Everything was piston, and you could hear them from miles away. And I'd get all excited and tell my dad, "Dad, the boats are running. Dad, the boats are running." And so, he'd say, "All right, we'll go down in a little while and we'll go watch." So that's probably the earliest. I didn't know. I knew a lot about the boats, or I thought I did. I didn't know any of the behind the scenes stuff, but I always liked, the Squire shop. I liked the colorful boats, that stood out. I always, when they went to turbines, I always pulled for the piston boats. I love the noise, so that's probably my earliest memories. One of my all-time favorites was Dave Villwalk. I as a little kid, I couldn't even get in the pits. I couldn't get in the unlimited pits until I was probably close to 18. I just didn't know anyone. I didn't have an in. So I snuck in one year in Tri-Cities right before he crashed the Circus, and he gave me a whole stack of painter's caps and patted me on the head and said, run along. And he was always incredibly nice to me. I was always in awe of Jim Cropfeld, of course Chip Hanauer. I was always watching from afar or on TV, and I'd have the commentary from my dad telling me, "Oh, that guy, he's a really good driver. Here's what he does. It's really, really good." Or he'd, say, "That guy, he's not a good driver. Here's what he does wrong." So most of the stuff that I knew about the drivers was from TV watching. We did get to go to Tri-Cities, once a year, and that was probably the best place to watch a race. But we couldn't get close to the drivers. It was all just watching the boats run. Well, my biggest goal, I really want to get this team's first race win. You know, we've come so close, and it's. I mean, we've even celebrated a race win, and it just didn't happen. So we're there, we're right there, and I just want that to come to fruition. And obviously, my biggest goal personally is win a Gold Cup, and I think that we have the best chance that I've ever had, and the team has a great chance this year also. I think the equipment's there. I'm ready. We just need the stars to align and go out and make it happen. So. It's pretty big. You know, I hear some people complaining about Seattle or complaining about this venue. Seattle has such a long-standing history of hydroplane racing that I feel really excited that it's here. You know, I think hopefully we can get some excitement from the fans, let them know what a big deal this is, how old this trophy is, and what it stands for, and what the people that have raced for this trophy. It's huge. And Taylor and I have joked a little bit about, well, what a perfect fitting. You know, obviously we're going to win this year, so I'm glad it's here in Seattle so we can celebrate with our friends and family. But I couldn't be more excited about it. I think it's going to be great for the event. Seattle needs some of this exposure, and so we can highlight these races and get racing back in the forefront and show them what a good field we're going to have. I feel like the field this year for 23 is kind of a blank slate. I think that there's some of the best drivers in the sport right now that have been in the sport. Most of the drivers don't have a history with the teams they're going to be racing with. They don't have a history with the holes that they're going to be in, or they're new to Unlimiteds altogether. So as a fan, taking a step back, I don't know that I could pick a favorite. There's some really fast boats out there, and there's some really good drivers out there. But to be a winning team and a winner on Sunday, you've got to work together. And we'll see. We'll see who can work together with their crew chief and their team and make it happen. I think Taylor, Kelly, Sharon, all of us on the bucket list team, we've worked together and we have history together. When we ran the 440. We spent a lot of late nights here working in the shop trying to get our stuff together, and we know how to communicate. We know how to talk. We know how to make these boats go fast. So I think that's one leg up that we have on everyone else this year, is the history that we have as a team. So.
Do you have like a first memory of watching an unlimited race?
Can't put that on camera. It was. There was a big fight in Tri-Cities. A guy bit another guy's ear off. I was like 6.